All right, welcome to Talkin' Investing. I am Tom, and as always, this is not financial advice. Today, I want to talk about CleanSpark. They are a Bitcoin mining company. They put out their second quarter results yesterday. Their stock is on fire today. I want to go through what was in that report and take a little deeper dive. I got some new charts and graphs for everybody. We cover Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners quite a bit on this channel, so if that's content you're interested in, please remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. Also, if everybody could please smash the like button. It helps the channel out a lot, and I really appreciate it. It helps get this video out to more people. Okay, so let's talk about CleanSpark. I want to start just where they're at right now. They're trading at $5.70, and I'm in the middle of the trading day on August 10th. So they are currently up over 21% on the day. It's been fluctuating, but it's been a very big up day. So just as a note, CPI came out this morning. It was better than expected. So the short-term reaction here is the stock market is up, Bitcoin is up, and the Bitcoin miners are up. However, I will tell you, CleanSpark is up more than any other Bitcoin miner today. It is the leader by far, up 21.8% right now. We'll see where it ends at the end of the day. So another note is, I was going to do this video last night, and it would have been a very, very, very different video because even 3 hours into after hours trading, this stock was trading down pretty significantly, 5%, 6%. So people must have digested this overnight because clearly this is a very different outlook. This stock is now skyrocketing. And we've been calling out on the channel, actually yesterday, the day before, and several other times, we've been saying CleanSpark is lagging and they are due for a big bump in their stock. But it looks like today is the day they're finally starting to close that gap. So let's get into the actual press release. This is their third quarter 2022, and it is the period ended June 30th, 2022. CleanSpark continued to grow by mining a record number of Bitcoin and substantially increasing our hash rate, said Zach Bradford, Chief Executive Officer. We are optimizing uptime and maximizing profits with our wholly owned locations. We also have made efficient use of our capital by putting new miner purchases to work quickly. I will tell you, they put out a press release, I think yesterday or the day before, where they did just that. They've done this several times. We'll get into that more deeply. Despite macroeconomic headwinds, our results demonstrate the resiliency of our strategy, and we expect to grow in what is otherwise a bear market. So they did grow. They made several acquisitions, and CleanSpark acquires plug-in ready Bitcoin mining facility scalable to 86 megawatts or 2.6 exahash. So this is an additional 2.6 exahash. They expect to get to from 2.9 to 4.0 exahash, and then by the end of the year, on their conference call, they did note that they expect to be at 5.0 exahash or more by the end of the year. So this represents substantial growth. I mean, it was not very long ago that they just crossed the 1 exahash mark. So if they can get to 5, that's a 5x from there over the course of what will be just about 1 year's time. It draws power predominantly from low carbon sources such as nuclear energy. So again, this is a part of their overall strategy of being green. Okay, I want to look at their financial statements that is also in this press release. So this is their financial statements for the 3 months ended June 30th, 2022. So there were a few things that I talked about I was going to look for in these reports when they came out. We know that Bitcoin had a bad quarter, so the top line revenue number to some extent was outside of their control, although we're going to get into what they did because they maximized that as well. But more importantly, I had talked about the fact that I want to see three things. I want to see what the direct cost per Bitcoin was, not including depreciation. So what's the cash cost for mining a Bitcoin? Did they manage to control their overhead? Did it grow? Did it shrink? And then the third thing was strength of balance sheet and liquidity. Are these companies staying liquid so that they can keep growing and get through whatever we're in the middle of? So the first thing I'm going to look at is top line revenue, $30,941,000. And then I want to go to cost of expenses. So you'll see cost of revenue, $10,341,000. Now that is the direct cost, and you'll see that's exclusive of depreciation and amortization shown below. So that's the cost that I was talking about. Obviously, depreciation and amortization are a legitimate cost, but they are a non-cash expense. And what we're looking to see is the cash flow of these companies, particularly as Bitcoin is trading at these much, much lower numbers. We want to make sure they're cash flowing. So I've put a couple of charts together that I want to show you to illustrate that I believe this was a home run report. Okay, here's the first one. So cost per Bitcoin by quarter. This is comparing the last 3 quarters for CleanSpark. So this was the number one thing that I said I was going to be looking for as these companies release their quarterly results. So you'll see in the previous 2 quarters, the quarter ended December 31st, 2021, and the quarter ended March 31st, 2022. CleanSpark was averaging around $13,000 per Bitcoin. So in this quarter, in the results that they just put out, they reduced that to $10,727 per Bitcoin. So that was a drastic reduction. So this is exactly what we're looking for and hoping for in our Bitcoin miners. So they were extremely efficient in this quarter and they lowered their direct cost. So if I go to this chart, this was the chart of all the publicly traded Bitcoin miners based on their previous quarter's report, because that was the latest and greatest, the March 31st report. So this was their cost per Bitcoin by company in last quarter's report. So you'll see as of last quarter, CleanSpark at 13,490, they were in 3rd place overall. So they were still doing quite well, but this jump down to 10,700-ish puts them right there, in a virtual tie with Marathon and Bitfarms in the mid 10,000s. I will also tell you with Marathon, that is a number that's on hold because they've basically shut down their operations temporarily. And all the Bitcoin they mined at this $10,000 per Bitcoin cost was at their Hardin facility. That ceases to exist at this point. They're moving all their machines somewhere else. So we're going to have to see what their new cost per coin is. This Bitfarms number is legitimate. I expect them to duplicate those results. However, we will see when they release their earnings. But the big takeaway here is that CleanSpark was able to reduce their direct costs from $13,490 down to $10,700. So that puts them vying for the most efficient of all the Bitcoin miners. Now, if we go back and look on the flip side, here's their revenue by quarter. So 2 quarters ago, $56,000 per Bitcoin. Last quarter, $41,000 for Bitcoin. And then this quarter, they were at $32,000 per Bitcoin. So obviously, that is a direct reflection of the fact that Bitcoin peaked in November at $69,000 and it bottomed somewhere over the last month or two in the mid 17,000s. We're sitting now at around 24,000, including today's activity. So you can see over the course of this quarter, because they sell their Bitcoin as they mine them, they did average 32,000, which is much better than a lot of companies did. There were several companies that were forced into liquidations more in the $20,000 and $22,000 range. So by averaging out of these, selling them as they mine them, they were able to average $32,000 per Bitcoin. So I expect that to be among the best in this quarter as well. And again, the most important point is they sold their Bitcoin for an average of $32,000. They mined their Bitcoin for an average cost of $10,700. And remember, that is their direct cost, not including depreciation. So this is a cash basis analysis because we want to make sure, again, the other thing that I'm looking for is that they remain liquid. So by selling them at 32 and mining them at 10, that's still a very good equation. Although it's much less than it used to be because the price of Bitcoin is down, that's still very healthy margins on a cash basis. In addition to that, if we look at the income statement, you'll see these 3 lines are their overhead lines: professional fees, payroll taxes, and general and administrative expenses. So these costs in total went down quite a bit quarter over quarter. You can see their payroll expense was $7.6 million. Their general and administrative expenses were $2.1 million. So in the previous quarter, those numbers were 10.5 and 3.1. So they brought both of those numbers down quite a bit. Despite the fact that they broke their all-time record for the number of Bitcoin mined in a quarter, their overhead was down. So they did a great job of managing overhead. They did a great job of managing direct costs. And they did a good job of revenue on the top line. And they maintained their liquidity. At the same time, they were able to buy a bunch of machines and actually increase their targets. They did put out a target for the end of the year 2023, and that was 22.4 exahash. So this is a part of their overall strategy to remain a top 5 Bitcoin miner. That would certainly put them very competitive as one of the largest Bitcoin miners in North America and the world. I am less concerned about their 2023 forecast. Their 2022 forecast to get to 4.0 exahash shortly and 5.0 by the end of the year, I think is very important. If they hit those numbers, then again, I think this stock is still oversold in my opinion. I want to reiterate, this is not financial advice. I can't tell you to buy this stock or sell this stock, so please do your own due diligence and be careful. I'm just showing you the numbers as they come out here and my analysis. So obviously, in the end, it's your decision. Let's take a look at the chart and see what's going on. Okay, quickly, before we look at the stock price chart, I want to show you this chart that I've made. And we've talked about this on the channel several times. Even over the last 2 days in a row, we've talked about the fact that CleanSpark is not keeping up with the competition from a stock performance standpoint. So in the month of July, CleanSpark stock was up 2%. That was lagging way behind their competition. You can see a lot of their competition was up between 50 and 143%, while they were up 2%. So I've been talking about that almost daily. In August, they've been doing a little better. They're now up 26%, but you can see a lot of these companies at 70s and 80s. There's 3 companies up over 100% in the month of July and the first week of August. So CleanSpark was sitting still only at 26%. So it's been my strong feeling that there was going to be a big run up in this stock and it just needed to wait its turn. Well, it looks like maybe today is its turn. Because again, on top of this, it's up plus 20% as we're speaking right now. It has been as high as up 25%. We'll see where it ends the day. Obviously, that's dependent on, momentum for the rest of the day. But this chart really shows there's still a lot of room left to run in this stock. So let's go take a look at their stock chart. Okay, so this is on the 1-day time frame. Obviously, this is today's gigantic green candle. So right now, as we speak, CleanSpark's up 23.6%. That has been fluctuating all day long. We don't know where it's going to end, but it has been north of 20% almost the entire day. So this is a big breakout. You can see they had a line of resistance at about $5.21 that dates back about a month and a half. They've blown way past that. So I want to zoom out and show you what I'm looking at in a bigger picture. This is CleanSpark's chart on the 1-week time frame. So you're going to see this goes back to a local high back in November at around $23. Their 2021 high was around $40, but that was outside of the 52-week window, and I don't think that's a relevant comparison at this point. Even after today's run-up, they're trading at about $5.80, so that is significantly less than half of where they were trading at the end of March. This white line right here represents their low on the year for the year 2021, which was last year. Now, this was simultaneous with Bitcoin hitting its low for the year in 2021 of around 29,000. So Bitcoin right now is at around 24,000. So it is a little bit lower than that. But remember, CleanSpark is 3 or 4 times the size of the company that they were at that point. So I just want to look at 2 things. If I was to measure, if we could get back to that low on the year for 2021, so that would probably mean Bitcoin needs to get a little bit healthy and get back up around 30,000. And remember, CleanSpark is multiples larger than they were at that point. So even that, in my opinion, would be overvalued. Again, this is not financial advice. Please do your due diligence and make these decisions for yourself. So that, just mathematically speaking, would be a 111% increase from where they're trading right now, even after their 23% up day at the moment. If they could get back to their highs from March of this year, that would be about 138%. So that would be pushing 140% increase from where they are right now. So to me, those are 2 very realistic goals. If Bitcoin can get healthy by the end of the year and get in somewhere into that $30,000 to $35,000 trading range, and if CleanSpark can stay on track with the plan that they just outlined for us. So overall, I think this was a fantastic report. Obviously, it's having a huge positive reaction today, despite the fact that the knee-jerk reaction last night was negative. It is up by far the most out of all the Bitcoin mining companies today. So that's all I've got for you on CleanSpark. If you made it this far, please remember to subscribe to the channel and smash the like button. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.